Meeting to order. My name is Levi Hill. I'll be serving as zoning administrator for today's meeting. Recording Secretary Barrera, will you please announce staff present and remind the public how they can participate in the meeting?
Sure. We have our planning manager, Levi Hill, serving as zoning administrator. We have our senior associate planner, Matthew Buggart, and again, myself, recording secretary, Erica Barrera. Information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom or telephone, is on this meeting's agenda, which is online at monterey.gov/agendas. Remote commenters will be muted until it's their turn to speak, and a timer will be shown on the screen. If you're connected on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. In the chamber, we recommend keeping phones and devices muted to prevent audio interference with the meeting. Thank you for participating in your city government.
Thank you. I'll first open up the consent agenda. Item 2, the consideration of the April 17th, 2025 meeting minutes. Ms. Barrera, are there any members of the public online or in the chambers who wish to comment on the consent agenda?
I see no hands raised in the chambers, and there are no hands raised online.
Thank you. Seeing and hearing none, I was present at the April 17th meeting. I have reviewed the draft minutes and have no edits. The April 17th, 2025 ZA meeting minutes are hereby approved as submitted. I'll now open the meeting to the public comments for items not on today's agenda. If there are any members of the public wishing to speak on items that are not on the agenda, please approach the podium or online, use the raise hand function. Anyone online?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. Seeing no hands raised and no one at the podium in the chambers, we'll move on to our first public hearing item, which is item number 3. It's consideration of 469 Toyon Drive, use permit application UP 240044 for retaining wall over 6 feet in height. Applicant Jack C. Camp, Central Coast Civil and Structural Engineering Incorporated, owner Larry Burkett. CEQA exempt, section 15303, class 3. Do we have a staff report? Thank you.
This would be the aesthetic of the wall with natural wood. This is a similar retaining wall in the area at Pacific Street and Bartolomeo Way. There are 3 findings required to be made of the use permit. 1, that the use is in accord with the objectives of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the zone. The land use map designates the site for residential use, and the improvements are consistent with continued use as residential. And retaining walls exceeding 6 feet in height are permitted with a conditional use permit, which is why we're here today. Additionally, the project must be found to not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare of persons residing or working in or adjacent to the neighborhood of the use. The project would provide stability to the hillside, would promote improved safety. It's located entirely on the project site. It would not increase surface water flows to the adjacent lots. That's included as part of the redesign as well. And the design was by a licensed engineer and will also require a building permit. Finally, the proposed use must comply with any specific condition, and conditions included to comply with the recommendations of the project biologist and technical engineer are included as part of the resolution and attachments. With that, staff's recommendation is that the zoning administrator approve the use permit with conditions. That concludes staff's presentation, and I believe the applicant is here.
Great, thank you. Excellent report. Is the applicant present and would they like to make a presentation?
Hi, I'm Jack Camp, the design engineer and applicant. I didn't prepare a presentation for this meeting since we presented it last year, and I felt that Matthew would be able to put together the slides to compare what was proposed before and how it's been altered to get out of the boundary now. And I'm available to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Great, thank you.
As a general contractor on this particular project, I'm here to answer any questions as well. Want to make it clear that the homeowner of this project is of the opinion that due to other permitted projects further up the street caused the water drainage to come down towards his property and have that slip happen. That slip has been he's applied to FEMA for assistance in the cost of repairing that slip, and his home has been unfortunately devalued in a huge way because of his entire backyard slipping down into the ravine behind his house. And he's unfortunately an elderly man, and his wife is suffering from dementia, and the cost of this project is really detrimental to him and his wife. And this process, we've already had to drive a helical anchor to hold the back deck of this property up, and this entire situation, I mean, it's really an emergency situation that we've been dealing with for 2 years now, trying to get this through. So just want to make it clear, this is a very serious situation that needs to be handled quickly.
Thank you. Would you mind stating your name for the record, sir?
I'm Dustin Lilly, Robert Dustin Lilly. I'm a general contractor for Highline Construction Management.
Great, thank you. Recording Secretary Barrera, will you please remind the public how they can participate and let us know if there's anyone online who would like to speak on this item?
Sure. Once again, information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom or telephone, is on this meeting's agenda, which is online at monterey.gov/agendas. If you're joining by telephone, dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. There are no hands raised online.
Thank you. there any members of the public in the chambers who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. I have read the staff report and the draft resolution included in the packet, and I agree with the staff recommendations and find that the proposed project is consistent with the general plan and objectives of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the R1 zoning district. The general plan land use map designates the site for low density residential, and the existing use is consistent with the land use designation. The proposed retaining wall would support the continued use of the site as residential. I find the proposal to be consistent with the site's residential land use designation, and that it would support the existing use and would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare of persons residing in or working in or adjacent to the neighborhood or the general welfare of the city. And the proposal is subject to the conditions of approval as noted in the draft resolution. With that, I hereby approve the use permit application UP 24044 with conditions as reflected in the draft resolution. Decisions of the zoning administrator are appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 days of this meeting. Applications for appeal can be found online or in the planning office. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item 4. Consideration of 791 Foam Street, use permit UP 250061 to conditionally allow retail sales, major motor vehicle sales, and rental use. Applicant Alistair Clements, property owner Todd Waldman. Planned Community Lighthouse Specific Plan zoning with a mixed-use neighborhood designation, exempt from CEQA Class 1 15301. Do we have a staff report?
We do. I will share my screen.
Thank you.
Today, we're here to talk about 791 Foam Street for a retail sales major use at today's zoning administrator hearing. Some background on this project. The project is located in the northern part of the city near Cannery Row. It's in a mixed-use neighborhood land use and has the zoning PCLH, which refers to the Planned Community Lighthouse Specific Plan. The site itself is at the intersection of Irving Street and Foam Street. It is this structure right here where there are parking spaces at the front and then a enclosed parking lot in the back. The building itself currently has a restaurant on the lower right side, and then the upper floor is currently vacant but could be for additional tenants. The proposed use would be in the lower left area of the building. And visitors would enter through the front door, sign whatever paperwork is needed for the rental vehicles, and then exit to the rear yard where the vehicles would be stored. These are smaller vehicles, more of a touristy / local resident use. And these vehicles would then exit off the northwestern part of the property onto Irving Street. It's very easy to turn right here. They can turn left as needed. The business would be go-kart tours with small vehicles to rent from the address. And the anticipated schedule would be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. There would be approximately 1 to 2 staff members per shift. No additional parking is required due to the location. The change of use in the Lighthouse Specific Plan area does not require additional parking. The vehicles would be stored in a gated lot and would be generally complementary to surrounding mixed land uses, this being a new use for the area. 3 findings are required, including that the proposed use is in accordance with the objectives of the zoning ordinance, and the zone PCLH allows for a variety of permitted uses, including this use, retail major, motor vehicle sales and rental, more so the motor vehicle rental portion of it, with a conditional use permit, which is why we're here today. The proposed project must be found to not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare. The proposed use would be primarily within the enclosed building, and then use would be from vehicles and associated paperwork. This project description was also provided to the police department, and there were no issues that were found regarding the proposed use. This provides recreational opportunities for residents and visitors. And finally, the proposed use must comply with any condition as listed in the resolution. That concludes staff's presentation, and the recommendation is to approve the use permit with the standard conditions of approval. The applicant, I also believe, is here today.
Thank you, Mr. Buggert. One question, can you remind me, does this proposed use carry any parking requirement with it?
It does not.
Thank you.
No, the Lighthouse specific plan has a specific policy, which I think is called out in the staff report, that calls out to not requiring additional parking in a change of use.
Thank you. As the applicant present, would they like to speak or make a presentation?
Hello there. My name's Alistair Clements. I'm one of the co-founders of Go Car Tours in San Francisco. We've been operating for 20 years. I'm actually here representing the business owner, Adam Foster, who purchased this business, C Car Tours, in May 2023. He wasn't licensed to, he was operating under a different brand name at that time. It's a similar business. If you've been to San Francisco, you may have seen it. We're quite similar. We're kind of transitioning to electric vehicles right now in the city of San Francisco, and we're hoping to bring that more to the peninsula as well. So Adam approached us to basically help him run the business and operate under our brand, Go Car Tours. So that's kind of what our role in this thing. I think Adam is the business owner. I think he probably is the permit holder. He's currently located at the Portola. He's permitted there. I think the permit moved from the prior owner to his name. So yes, Adam is, I think he's on Zoom. You might want to say a few words. Maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, that's all I have. It's a good location for us. We think we'll be well suited to that environment, you know, with the aquarium being close by, and better than the Portola, we think. So thank you.
Thank you. Can we just check to see if the other applicant is online?
I see the applicant Adam Foster online with their hands raised. I'll go ahead and allow them to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Yeah, I just want to say thanks for the consideration for the use permit here. I think that this business is just a fantastic way for tourists to come in and learn about other companies and other businesses in the area, since they take a tour of the surrounding area and learn more about the different things that Monterey has to provide. So looking forward to it, and we think this is a great location for it. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll now open the meeting to public comment on this item. Recording Secretary Barrera, is there anyone online that would like to speak on this item?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else in the chambers, I will close the public hearing. I have read the staff report and the draft resolution, and I concur with staff recommendations and find that the project is consistent with the general plan and the objectives of the zoning ordinance, and specifically the purposes of the Lighthouse specific plan. The general plan land use map designates the site for mixed use, and the proposed use is consistent with that designation. The general plan land use designation is mixed use neighborhood. The project proposes a new commercial business meeting various general plan objectives as stated in the draft resolution. As condition, the proposed project will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare of persons residing or working in the adjacent neighborhood, and will not be detrimental to properties or improvements in the vicinity or the general welfare of the city. And of course, the proposal is subject to the conditions of approval as noted in the draft resolution. With that, I hereby approve use permit application UP 250061 with conditions as reflected in the draft resolution. Decisions of the zoning administrator are appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 days of this meeting. Applications for appeal can be found online or in the planning office. Thank you. With there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.